Hello. Just finishing my sweetie. Well, it is a Saturday night after all, you know. We can't have a sweetie on a Saturday night. When can we have one? I'm crocheting my shawl. Hi, Nathan. Well, it's not my shawl, actually. It's a shawl I'm making for the Golden Oldies. I just put just put a shawl around my shoulders because I was a bit chilly. How am I doing? Well, you know, clocking on. Worse than yesterday, but better than tomorrow. We hope. I mean, I'm still breathing, so that's a good day, isn't it? The weather's been it's been gorgeous all week. Absolutely gorgeous all week, Esther, but today's a bit colder. I thought, oh, summer's coming. Maybe I should get my summer dresses out. I mean, I have got a summerish dress on, actually, but not one of my thin cotton ones. But I've had summer dresses on all week. You know, proper summer dresses. Oh, okay. So, hello. I'm just saying it's got a bit cold. Don't know whether you've got cold up there, but it's got a bit chilly. I've got my greenhouse done. It's only a little tiny thing. I put pictures on Facebook. But it's done. It's only took, well, he did say he would do it in the spring for me because when I asked him last year, he said, there's no point because you're not going to be planting anything until the spring. So, good evening, Kimberly. So it's done now. So I've got some little plants in the, what do they call them? Propagators. They're about that big. So they can now go in bigger pots and they can go into my greenhouse. They're only flowers so far. I've not planted anything. I don't really do a lot of veggies. I just do sort of lettuce and bits and bobs, you know. I haven't got ground like you can plant carrots because they need quite a depth, don't they, to grow a carrot, yeah. I might grow chives or something if I've got the seeds. I can't remember what seeds I've got left in the vegetable line, yeah. I'm not doing tomatoes this year because they got the blight last year. So it was a waste of time. And it cost me that much with all the things I was doing to them. You know, it's cheaper to go and buy some. I know they tasted nicer, but they all went a bit funny. So we shall just leave the tomatoes. I've done a bit of sprucing up in the backyard. It needs a lot of cleaning up, really. Hi, Val. Yeah, no, we've not had rain, I don't think. We had it last night. I had rain last night. I don't think we've had rain today. It did say that on the forecast, it was forecast for rain because I thought, oh, I'm not going to get my little greenhouse done because, you know, it won't come in the rain and stand in my back garden getting wet just to put my greenhouse together. He couldn't do my toilet seat because he didn't bring his spanners and he couldn't undo the nuts. So I shall have to wait for somebody else to do it. Hi, Connie. I'm about the same as usual, that's what I will say. Oh, is it raining down there? I can't hear it raining. Normally I can hear it rain on the conservatory roof, but well, it won't too. I mean, I've had the conservatory door open until it went about chilly about 6 o'clock. It went really cold again. But I go cold. The minute that sun disappears out the sky, I am freezing. I've always been like that. I can be abroad. It can be really, really hot abroad, and yet I'm cold. As soon as the sun goes in, I have to put my jacket on. Yeah, my new laundry cart came today. It folds up flat, but when you open it out, it's got little casters on the bottom. So it'll save me having to try and lug my washing outside. I did buy a laundry basket that was supposed to collapse down, but I can't get it to. It's so stiff, I can't get it to come up and go down. We had one at the other house, and that was dead easy to do. This one's so stiff. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm a wimp. Maybe I cannot do it. Anyway, I bought this other one, folds up flat, and got little wheels. I bought a new clothes raily thing. The one I had with my jackets on, it was in the front bedroom, and it must have been hot in there. And they were plastic, the rods that went out where you hung things on, and they all bent. So I ordered one and made sure it had wooden bits that came out, and that seems to be fine. So I've put the other one in the conservatory because it's actually for drying your washing on. You know, for putting shirts and blouses on hangers and hanging them up. So I thought, oh, it'll come in handy when I've got a line full of bedding and no room to hang anything else out. Yeah. Yeah. The little things are growing really nicely in them little baby, I keep forgetting the name, propagators. My sunflowers have grown, and my morning glory, which makes everybody laugh. I don't know why. But they've grown as well. So I need to take them out of the propagators because they'll go big and spindly otherwise. Hey. I've still got plenty of bulbs to plant. All my little hyacinths are coming up. Finally, at last, they started to grow. They're only about that big, but at least they started to grow. I thought I'd got a duff lot of bulbs that weren't going to do anything. Yeah, I've got some more bulbs to plant, and I've got some vegetables, but, you know, lettuces and bits and bobs, yeah. I won't be doing anything big because I've only got... My niece put my raised bed things together for me last time she came. She's coming next Saturday. I'm glad about that because I didn't do any big shopping last time she came because we were too busy doing little jobs around the house. So I shall go out and get me big shopping. It's very handy because she's got a car, so I can get me big stuff, the heavier stuff. I know I can order online, but I do like to go and have a choose. I don't know whether you do. You know, you see the bargains when you go yourself, don't you? I mean, I never got... Well, I've got a basic idea of what I want. You know, the staples. But I never choose what my menu is going to be until I get there. And I see if they've got any meat on special, you know, or chicken on special or something. Fish on special. That's how I decide what... I won't be going there, unfortunately. We go to Morrison's. But I don't find it too bad there. I just go where the car goes, if you know what I mean. I'm not fussy. If I get a lift, I go where the car goes. So I'm quite... I'm always very grateful when I get a lift. It saves me... I mean, they charge me £3.50 for delivery, no matter how much shopping you spend. It used to be free, didn't it, if you spent a certain amount, but that seems to have gone by the board. Man, it's all this petrol or gas, if you're in America, going up. It's bound to affect all deliveries of everything. Hi, Helen. Yeah, so I finished my blue cardigan at last. Hooray! I did put a picture of it on my Facebook. I forgot to bring it in with me. So I'm doing my shawl, my 5-point shawl. I've got into the pattern now without me to read it. I got something else as well this week, but I'll wait while more people are on to show you. Then I won't have to show it 2 or 3 times. I got a bit chilly, so I put my shawl on. This isn't mine, actually. Well, it is mine now. I swapped it. It's got little beads all around the end, but you can't see, can you? Little beads. It's mohair with all different colours. I went to, it was when it was at Cockermouth, was it? Not Yarndale. Woolfest, was it? And one of my friends was there, and she said, "Oh, I love your jacket." And I'd made it in purple in the James C. Brett, and it was it had a circle on the back, and and it was too big. It was massive on me. I thought, well, I'm wearing it. We want something new, don't you? I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it. Hi, Val. Hi, Linda. So this friend of mine, she said, "Oh, I love your jacket." So I said, "Well, if you wait while I'm going home," I said, "I'm going home in the car." So I said, "I'll leave it with you." And she went, "Oh, no, you mustn't." I said, "It's too big." I said, "I probably won't wear it." I said, "I'm just wearing it because I wanted something new." So she swapped me for this mohair shawl. So she gave me that. So we did a swap. So sadly, I think she's actually passed away because she was struggling with cancer when I knew her. So I've not seen or heard of her for ages. So I know her husband passed away, but I think she's passed away as well. And I don't know anybody else I can ask, you see. I mean, I do hope she's still alive, but she was older than me, so she would be in her 90s if she's still alive, yeah. Which is no age these days, is it? Yeah. It's not near me. It's not next to me. I can't wear it on my bare body, if you know what I mean. Over my underwear, I mean. I don't mean bare body. But this is a shawl, so it's like over the top of my clothes, so I'm all right with that. I wouldn't be able to wear it if it was a cardigan or a sweater. I've got a knot in me wool. Yeah, I've ordered some, what do you call them? Pruning things. What do you call them? Pruning. Secateurs, that's the word. I discovered I don't have any. Well, I knew I didn't have any. I don't know why I discovered I didn't have any. And one of my trees that was round the front, I brought it round the back because I thought, oh, it's died. It died last year, never did anything. Anyway, I was going to dig it up to use the plant pot, and it's growing from the bottom. So I thought, oh, yay, it's growing again. There's only one of my trees that hasn't grown. I don't know what it is, but it hasn't got a label on, so one of them. It didn't grow last year. It was one of those bare root things. I got it from Gardening Express. I mean, I've done well out of Gardening Express, but my friend, she ordered a pile of stuff and everything she ordered died. So I felt really awful because I'd recommended her to use it. But everything I bought been fine apart from this one rose bush. but I shall wait until across the road gets some flowers in, and then I'll get some from him because they're a lot cheaper. Then I can use my new flower beds. Yay! I'll have a look while I'm out, just in case there's any nice bargains at Morrison's, but usually they're a bit pricey. A little bit pricey. And I've got 1,000,003 what was I going to say? I forgot. Mid-sentence, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I'm getting worse. We were talking about that on Wednesday at Little, about being forgetful. The nearest supermarket to me is actually Aldi, which I'm not mad about. I've got a tiny little Marks and Spencer's, only food, but I do buy bits and pieces from them. But they are a little bit pricey, Marks and Spencer's, yeah. But I went off Aldi for fruit and veg because I only buy for the week. It wasn't lasting all week, if you know what I mean. I think Aldi's all right if you shop every day or if you've got a big family. But if you only shop once a week, like me, the vegetables or the mushrooms and that have gone off before you can use them, yeah. There is a little, but it's just that bit further away. I used to love my Tesco when I was living in Prestwich. That was my local. I'd like to get one of them boxes of veg from Lidl, but I never get to Lidl, so those £2 boxes. That Mean Queen Super. What's she called? Mean Queen Super Scrimper. And that Ali Lives Well for Less, they get them. But I'm not that great at making something out of nothing and putting it on in the fridge. I have to have a plan, if you know what I mean. I did have chicken stew tonight that was left over. Yeah, my local, when I was in Prestwich, we had a much bigger Marks and Spencer's. Didn't have any clothing, but it was still much bigger. And it had a little cafe in it and everything. And then I had an Aldi, a Lidl, and a Tesco, where I lived in Prestwich, all within striking distance. But here's a bit more difficult. So I usually do an Asda online order, or I do an Iceland one if I want anything frozen. I tried to do Morrison's online, but for some reason or other, it won't have my card. It keeps reverting back to when I lived in Prestwich and telling me my card's expired. Yes, I know. And I don't want you to send me groceries to Prestwich anyway. I even had customer service trying to sort it out for me, and it didn't. It didn't. Well, I shall show you what I got today in the mail. I am so lucky. I'm a lucky, lucky, lucky me. Lucky me, lucky me. I can go years and never get any happy mail. And then thanks to people, subscribers, I've had three lots in the last couple of weeks. So this one, thank you, Kimberly. It's called James C. Brett Elegance Double Knit. And it's got, oh, I don't think you can see it, maybe I'll open it. It's got a little bit of sort of a silvery lurex. Can't do it, such a wimp. Can't even undo plastic now. It's got a very faint lurex in it. It's not a dead sort of only for evening lurex. It's a very faint. Oh, it doesn't look like lilac, does it? But can you see it's got a very faint? And it's called Elegance Double Knitting. But it is, oh yeah, you can see it's lilac there, can't you? It's lilac, yeah. I haven't decided what I'm going to be. What I'm going to do with any of my happy mail so far. Because I decided I wanted to do 6 of these shawls. I've done 3. This is number 4. So I could give her 6 to take for the golden oldies, yeah? Yeah, soft and delicate like me, Kimberly. I'm such a little precious flower. More like a fairy elephant, but that's by the by, isn't it? Oh, it was weird today. I measured a parcel I'm going to post. I measured it on, you know, those hanging things that you do suitcases on. And it said it was 3 kilogram. And I thought, it's a lot more than 3 kilogram. So I tried it again and it still said 3 kilogram. I thought, odd. So then my weighing scales for me, they went haywire the other day. You could be anything you wanted to be, you know what I mean? If you moved one leg, you could change, you could be like 6 stone 4, you know, if you stood on one leg. So I bought a new set of scales, not a dear one, just cheap ones. So what I did in the end was I stood on it, wrote my weight down, and then I stood on it holding the bag. So that way I got a more true measurement, which was 7 kilos. Bit of a difference, isn't there? So I don't know whether it's faulty, that suitcase weigher thing. But it's a bit dodgy if you were going on holiday and you had to keep it within a certain limit. You'd maybe think that your suitcase was all right. I mean, there's a bit of a difference between 3 kilograms and 7, isn't there? Yay. So I've crocheted, well, I haven't crocheted a few mandalas. I've made a few things into mandalas. If you've been with me a long, long time, when I lived in Prestwich, I had a decking. And before I decided to move, I wanted crocheted flowers to put along the decking. And so my lovely subscribers sent me various sort of flowers, but some of them were flat, more like a coaster. And I've kept them all this time. And then I thought, oh, I'll turn them into little mandalas, because I had some rings about that big. And so the middle bits were done. So I just did a couple of rows round and put them into mandalas. So the cheats way. I'm still going to do proper mandalas because I've got some finer yarn to do them with. So I've jazzed up my hallway a bit. It's a bit multicoloured, a bit like Josie's coat of many colours, but you know me. I do not have a decor. I was just saying before, I was been watching, it's called Homeworthy. And they go around to people's houses. Most of them are really, really posh. You know, the kind you'd never afford in a million years, yeah. No, not Tina, Trish. Hi, Trish. But some of them are tiny little apartments, like in New York. I mean, they must be very expensive to buy. Well, to rent an apartment in New York. Or Trisha, I beg your pardon. And the kitchens, some of them are minute. But these big posh women with these massive, massive kitchens, and they paid a fortune to have marble and everything. And then in the next breath, they say they don't cook. And I'm like, why did you just get all that posh stuff for your kitchen then? Is it just to brag about everything? But of course they have open plan, don't they? They don't have the kitchen in one room. So I suppose if somebody comes to sit on your sofas, they're looking at your kitchen, aren't they? So you'd have to have it posh if you were a bit posh. But the number of people who said, but we don't cook. And one woman there, honestly, she showed round the house wearing a white dress with feathers. And I thought, a bit over the top, isn't it, for showing somebody around your house? And she had 3 small children. And yet you couldn't see a trace of these children anywhere. And she kept saying, oh, yeah, we've got plenty of storage for the toys. And I'm like, well, where is it? Where's the toys? Yeah, feathers. She had it on. It was like a dress with a big feather thing, like with flowers in it. And it was all feathers, white. And she has 3 small children. I thought, how weird is that? But she was the same. She got this massive, massive kitchen, and then she said she doesn't cook. And I thought, well, who feeds your kids? Have you got a nanny? I mean, there were no sign of these children, and they were under school age. Well, one was over school age, but the rest of them were under school age. So she must have parked them off on somebody while she did the tour. But they always have impossible furniture. You know, if they've got kids and they've got like white furniture and that, and you're thinking, oh, what do you do with your kids? Stick them in the garden shed or something? You know, because, oh. But they're all rental. I mean, it must be so expensive to buy property or rent property in New York, because nobody seems to own a house. But some of them, they're like, you wouldn't put the dog in them. They're that small, you know. They're like little dog kennels. One house, one flat, I should say, apartment, where the bed was, it looked like a corridor, you know, from a lounge to a bathroom. And there was like a corridor, and she had a double bed. And she said, people have said it's a strange place to put the bed, but I can't put it anywhere else. And I'm like, you'd have to vault to get in it, you know what I mean? Climb in it. I thought, oh. But it was just like a wide corridor she had the bed in. And the number of people who have the bed in the main room, you know, as you walk in, you see the bed. And I'm thinking, no, I wouldn't like that, especially if I was a young woman on my own, like some of them are. It's a bit like come back to my apartment for coffee, and the first thing they see when they open the door is the bed. Kind of gives them funny ideas, doesn't it? You know. Plus the fact you'd have to keep it super, super tidy, wouldn't you? I mean, I make my bed, but I mean, making your bed and primping it up with a load of fancy cushions is a different thing entirely, isn't it? You'd have to get up half an hour earlier before you left for work. Still, that's how the world lives, yeah. And then in the other extreme, I started watching a lady who was living in Morocco in a house made out of that clay. You know, they get it from the earth and make their own house. I suppose there's no building regulations there. It is warm there, isn't it? So perhaps you don't need a proper bricks and mortar house. Yeah, she was a little bit hippie though. Wattle and daub, they call it, don't they? It's clay and everything else. It's how they used to build houses in the, you know, donkeys years ago. But I suppose if it's warm, you know, you don't need to be bothered whether your roof's rainworthy, if you know what I mean. Outdoor showers, I've been thinking, is there any insects out here or any snakes or anything? I wouldn't be wanting a shower outdoors. I'd be looking around for wildlife. Knowing me, I'd find it. Scorpion over my toe or something. Ugh. Well, my friend that came today, she's got tarantulas, and she was saying one of them's like the size of her hand now. Oh, I thought you can keep them. I don't want to know. I've not been in the house and I don't want to go. It's not because I don't like her. I wouldn't want to come face to face with one of her spiders. I don't know what your feelings are about them. Clunk, clunk. Must be next door coming back. My friend's son came as well. He's like a teenager. And I said to him, will you squirt the weeds on the drive for me? Because I had some weed killer. And next door started up the Porsche. He come in, he said, next door's gone out. Did you hear him? I said, did I hear him? Oh, I couldn't deal with him, Nathan. I could not deal with a spider. No. Could not deal with it. Mind you, we had the gate open as well, so not only did we hear the Porsche, it nearly gassed us with his exhaust because he was revving it up for ages before he went. To laugh. Knock off some fumes, yeah. I don't know where he went because he came back within 5 minutes. And my friend's car was in my drive, so he had to take his own car out to get the Porsche out. Normally he drives down my driveway. But we fooled him today because we had a car in the drive. It's funny, my friend pressed the doorbell and it didn't ring. So I'd seen her arrive, so I went and opened the door. And as she came in and went into the lounge, the doorbell rang. It's an old Porsche, yeah. It's 20-something years old. It's in very good condition because it's his baby, if you know what I mean. He babies it. Yeah, it's a wonder you can't hear this one, Val. It wasn't so much the noise, it was the smell, you know, it was pumping into my back garden. That's being posh, in it, my backyard, yeah. I was looking around my bungalow and I was doing something in the bedroom and I was thinking, the yard's bigger than my bedroom. Can I not go and sleep in the yard? I'd fit a lot more in the yard than I do in my bedroom. I could do with having an extension. But that will never happen. Oh, woof woof to you as well. Doodly doo doo doo. Moonbeams and mayhem have added 10 new photos and I am not looking. I can't buy any more. I did buy 3 dresses, but they were at the charity shop, so that doesn't count. Oh. What are you doing, Jan? What are you doing? I've missed a treble on the row before. Sugar. Sugar. And it shows. I can't fudge it. It shows. Where did I miss it from? There. That's where I missed it. I can't leave things if I know they're wrong. It's got to be sorted. I don't know about you, but it's got to come back. It was hard work tinking that blinking sweater back at the knit club. She was knitting it on interchangeable needles and I'm not used to it. So I was helping her by, she'd gone wrong so she couldn't take it back. So I was taking it back for her and the blinking needle fell apart, you know, where they joined together. I felt like just ripping the whole thing off and starting again. But I didn't. I just took back what she'd done wrong and give it a... Well, we managed to sort out the needle. I mean, first of all, it had a jog, you know, where it joined, the needle joined onto the cord. There was a jog thing. And I said to her, I said, it's rough here. What's something wrong with this? And then she found out she hadn't connected it properly. That's why there was like a jog, whatever they call it, jog. And then it just came apart because she hadn't screwed it together properly. She had this set her husband had bought her, £72 it was. I think it was Knit Pro, I'm not sure. I wouldn't have been impressed if anybody had bought me one, because I can't knit on them. Yeah, there might be Knit Pro. I mean, I've got Knit Pro Zing in straight needles, but it's just the fact I can't use circulars. I can't knit on that little short bit of needle. You're knitting on about less than that. You're knitting on about that much. That's what I can't knit on. I need a longer piece to knit with, you know, a longer needle to knit with. I can't crochet with certain crochet hoops because they're too short. I like the longer ones, you know, that fit across and stick out the other end. One brand, I can't remember which brand it is quite short. They just about fit in the palm of your hand. Hi, Lydia. I'm crocheting a shawl today. Not for me. I'm trying to decide whether to do that other pattern in the book, Val, which is maybe a bit complex just to, you know, give away. I do it for myself, but it's a bit... I'll have to concentrate. It's a bit more quantity, I think, rather than quality when I'm not doing for myself. It's just get a few done quick. Might start another one in the, you know, that granny square one, the one that's shaped. I've still got piles of oddments. So that's what I might start, one of those next. Although it's a bit of a pain taking it to Knit Club. Oh, you're lurking, are you, Amanda? Right. Your hands are busy knitting. I know I'm like that when I'm having a conversation on my phone. I don't mean talking on my phone, I mean typing on my phone. And I'm trying to do my crochet, I have to keep putting it down and typing and putting it down. So then I finish up not doing any crocheting. I used to have a great phone. It was an old one years ago, and you could speak into it and it would type what you were talking, but this one won't. You can leave a voice message on this one, but it only lasts a little tiny bit. But the other phone I used to have, and it was a really old one, I'm going back about 15 years, and if I spoke into it, it would type what I'd spoke into it. It was brilliant. So you could carry on doing what you were doing and just talk into the phone, yeah. You're unknitting, you're tinking, are you? Or unravelling, whatever. I was doing that for a lady at Knit Club. What phone have I got? I don't know. Oh, it's Hello Moto, whatever that is. Hello Moto. I don't know about these things. I'm not a phone buff. I only get phones when they're broke, and I don't get phones because they're out of date or anything. I've had this one about 2 years, 3 years, something like that. I don't have a contract. I only have, I only pay for the, what do you call it? The phone line, what I use. I don't want one of these fancy things that you can brew a cup of tea with and tell you the time and pay your bills with. I don't want one of them. I'm quite happy with this one. It does what I need. It's got enough functions for what I need. Tomorrow I'm going to get my little seedlings out because they're growing quite leggy and put them into bigger plant pots and put them in my new greenhouse. Yay! At least this one won't blow away. I was a bit disappointed because it's not got proper glass. It's got that plexiglass stuff, which means that the whole greenhouse is lighter than it would be if it was glass. But then again, it won't break, will it? So I suppose there's swings and roundabouts, isn't there? I did get my weeds sprayed on the drive. I hope they die, but they may not. Last year I took them up, by hand and that. Oh, I couldn't move for about 2 days afterwards. With all the bending and stretching. I thought, I can't do it. I did have a phone number, which I've lost, of a young lad that wanted to... something banging. That would have done the weeding, for a certain amount of money. But I've lost his number. Otherwise, I would have rung him up and told him to come. Because proper gardeners don't want to know, do they, But if he's only a youngster, he might come anyway. My next door neighbour, he knocked on her door. I wasn't in. But she didn't want him because she's got that astroturf. So she doesn't get many weeds, and her husband does the front. He's got one of them little tool things. I said to him the other day, I said, you can take a few of mine up if you will. I said, because I can't bend. And he went, didn't do them. I thought he might have took pity on me, but no. Nope. What are good to wear? I missed a bit here, Val. What are good to wear? Well, I was watching Sheila. She was talking about what happened to her last year. She paid somebody to do the weeds, and what they did was they just took the tops off the weeds and dug it over. And because she hadn't been watching, she didn't know he hadn't dug the weeds up. Of course, they came back worse than they were before. You've got to keep your eye on people. That's the trouble these days. You can't trust people to do a good job unless you're standing over them. Well, I would have thought you would have supposed to put the weeds in the bin and not leave them there. I mean, I haven't got a garden here, so it's a waste of time me having a gardener, isn't it? That doesn't stop the weeds growing on my path. The driveway is made up of that block, blocks. So the weeds grow in between. And then all down the side of the bungalow, in between the wall and the driveway, there's grass and all sorts growing there. Anyway, my friend's son squirted them all with his weed killer, so I just hope it works. I was going to get one of those electric weed zapper things, but well, hello, 65. But I've heard that they're not much good. And yet, Julie at Knit Club, she likes hers, but hers has got like a gas bottle. But this one I've seen, it was the electric one. The reviews on it weren't all that good. Oh no, I've missed another treble. Janet, what are you doing? I am not concentrating, obviously. Thankfully, it's not at the end of the row this time. It's at the end of the row this time. You can't go on without it because you treble, and then the next row you do 3, and then you do 5. So if you've got the bottom one missing, you can't carry on. You can't do the increases. Where is it missing? There. I used to have a leaf blower when I had a garden, but I didn't bring it because I didn't have a garden and I've got no trees, so it was a bit pointless having a leaf blower. I'd like a lot of things. I'd like a pressure washer. There's all sorts of gadget that, you'd like. I'd like a carpet cleaner. But these things have to be saved for. They don't grow on a tree. And seeing as I've not even won a lucky dip on the lottery the last few weeks. Oh, that shawl, yeah. This one's, like I said, the mohair one that I'd swapped. I wear mine on most nights, my granny square one. So, not granny square, granny stitch one. I usually put it around my shoulders. Well, it's May now. I shouldn't be putting the heating on, so I just get a little bit chilly. Yeah, it's a good shape because it doesn't fall off, does it? But this one's going to be like a semicircular one, so this one won't be too bad. For not falling off the shoulders. It's the triangle ones that tend to fall off. This one's a triangle I've got on and it's not staying on at all. They stay on if they're huge, big enough to wrap around you. They stay on then. But just for normal triangles and stuff like that. Oh. I found a little bit of eyelash in my garage as well. Only a couple of balls. But I thought, oh, I could put a row or 2 in my shawls. Yeah, a load of stuff fell off the shelf, and when I was putting it back, I thought, oh, look at that. A couple of balls of gold, I think, and I think there was a ball of red and a ball of something else there was. It must have been ice yarn that I'd had for ages. It was when I was shuffling past to get to those garments to get them off the rail. My slender bottom knocked things off. I've got the kind of bottom that clears tables, you know what I mean, when you're walking past. Overhangs. Do. Yeah, I've got one of those multicoloured shawls already to donate, yeah. Does yours do that as well? Yeah, you try to squeeze through a little space and your bottom's doing a load of damage as you're walking past. You're clearing the shelf behind you. We can't all be slim, can we? Can't all be Miss Twiggy. I wouldn't want to be slim, actually. Well, I'd like to be slimmer, but I don't want to be dead skinny. I like to have some kind of a figure, you know. I like to go in and out a bit. I don't like straight up and down like some of these young ones are with a size 4, you know. Teeny tiny things. Next door's is gone out, so you probably hear the tinkle, tinkle, tinkle when they come back in. When they walk past me, my doorbell. She was a little bit dressed up, so I don't know. They must have gone out for the evening. Can't be going to the pub, really, because he took the car. I doubt he'd drink and drive. He doesn't look... Well, you don't know whether he looks the type or not, do you? But he looks a responsible person, let's just say. Yeah, it's growing. Growing. You see what I mean? They're like a lozenge shape. And if you miss one of the trebles out, then you can't do the lozenge. So you have to take it back again. As you finish off one lozenge, you start the other one. Yeah. And I keep missing these bits in between. So when I get to the row after, I've got nothing to go into. I should concentrate, shouldn't I? I always remember something watching, and it was kind of like a Dickens thing or something. And this bloke used to say, concentration, cork and glue. And I've even tried Googling it. And I can't find it. And every time I say anything to anybody, people go, oh, I've never heard that. But I'm sure it was from one of those like old books, kind of. I don't say it's Dickens, but Dickinson era. And I don't know where I've got it from. And I've got this vision of like a granddad figure talking to this child. It might have even been on the TV. But nobody else remembers that phrase at all except me. Manny, I remembered kittens on the television, and everybody else is going, no, no, no. Anyway, I did find an obscure little thing, and it was Pruden's kitten. And I thought, there you go. See, I wasn't making it up. There was a thing on the telly about kittens. A little cartoon it was. And I always remember it was Pruden's kitten has lost her mittens, yeah. And then I used to watch another TV programme when I was a kiddie, and they lived in an igloo. And they lived... And everybody else is going, don't remember that. I must have remembered. I mean, it couldn't possibly have been a video because there weren't any videos back then. But I must have watched some obscure programmes that nobody else watched. And I've tried Googling them and nothing. It comes up with things like the clangers, doesn't it? And all sorts when I'm trying to Google things. Maybe I should write to Talking Pictures, because they're always saying, does anybody else remember such a thing? And then they always get somebody who writes in the week after, yeah, I remember that. Maybe I should write to them and say, anybody else remember this little cartoon where they lived in igloos? I think they must have been penguins or something. I really can't remember. I've just got a vague thing in the back of my mind. I mean, I didn't watch TV very often when I was young because there wasn't it to watch. You just got a few children's programmes every now and again. It wasn't like cartoons morning till night like there is now. I think we used to get an hour in the evening before the news came on. And then they used to go off for an hour, and then it would come back on with the news. My mum said it used to do that so that they put the children to bed before the parents settled down to watch the news. I don't know whether that was true or whether it was just... I know it wasn't my mum switching it off. It used to go off the telly. We were talking about that the other day, about the first telly we ever had was a 9-inch screen. I mean, you've got bigger screens on your mobile phones now. I watched the coronation, Queen's coronation on that. You could hardly see her, she was about that big. And it was all in black and white, of course. So I remember that because my mum had invited all the street to come and have a look because nobody else had a telly, only us. And they were all walking down the street with a little dining chair, from their own house because we didn't have enough chairs. And my dad had to keep getting up to answer the door to somebody with a chair. And he finished up standing up by the door because he lost his chair. You used to have Prudence kitten. Yeah, see, I'm not making it up. There was one, wasn't there, Prudence kitten? I never had any china or anything. We were talking about that today because my friend, when she was little, somebody bought her a little china tea set. She's still got bits of it, but of course, being a child, a lot of it's got broken. So that's funny you brought that up because that's what we were talking about this afternoon. China tea sets. Mine would have been plastic if I'd have had one. I don't remember having one. I probably did have little teacups and that, but they would be plastic. They wouldn't be china. We didn't have a lot of money when I was little. I'm not complaining though, because I had a good childhood. I was fed and watered and I had clean clothes, albeit that most of them were second hand, but at least I was, fed and watered and you can't complain, can you? I didn't know I was poor until I grew up. We didn't compete with the Joneses back then because the Joneses didn't have anything more than we did, so there was none of this, you know, got to have one because next door's got one. There was none of that. And if anybody elderly died, you were sharing out the furniture before they got buried, weren't you, really? I've been watching a lot of programs on YouTube about how we coped during the war and that, yeah. Your memory's the same, is it? Yeah. About how, you know, they had to make food like out of nothing, and they showed the rations. And I mean, people would eat more than that in a day now, you know, like the 2 ounces of butter and stuff like that. And that was what they literally had, you know, a little bit of bacon, a sausage if there was any around. And I mean, I can remember rationing even though it didn't end till you didn't have plastic ones. Did they not? Well, what did I have then? I know I didn't have China because I'm 80, so I would have been a child in the late 40s, yeah. So I certainly didn't have any China tea sets, but I remember having something that was like a tea set. Might have been Bakelite. Do you remember the Bakelite dolls? You didn't dare bang them because their heads would break you. Oh, thank you. I'm 80, yeah. No, I didn't know I was poor, Patricia, no. Because there was no yardstick. There was nobody like I lived on a terrace block. There was nobody like lording it over everybody else and, you know, loads of money, and we were all in the same boat. It was rationing and money was scarce, and, you know, jobs didn't pay a lot of money. You know, I mean, people did have jobs back in the day. Jobs were quite plentiful, but it's just that the wages weren't very good. It was all manual work. But I think, you know, like everybody thinks they're poor when they're not really. You know, nobody's as poor as our grandparents were, you know, when they literally didn't have anything. You know, I mean, they didn't even have enough food, our grandparents, half of the time. And yet today's generation think they're poor if they can't afford McDonald's and KFC. They should try living on 2 ounces of butter and the rations, you know, from the 1940s, 1950s. They'd be appalled, wouldn't they? They wouldn't know what to do. I watch well, she's youngish to me. She's probably about 30, I think. It's called something vintage dollhouse. It's nothing to do with dolls, and she tries to do things that were like in the war. She'll try a recipe, you know, that was like mock turkey, you know, for Christmas and that. And she does try them, you know. Some of them are all right and some of them were terrible. You know, where they use carrots to sweeten things. I don't mean carrot cake, I mean something else where they used a carrot to sweeten it. And like she said, it doesn't really work. Powdered eggs. I mean, they were all right, I believe, in cake making. I can remember my mum having powdered eggs. We didn't eat them as in, you know, scrambled eggs or anything. But you used to use powdered eggs in cakes and that. It used to come in a metal tin with a lid. And I can remember being overjoyed when we started getting that little bottles of orange juice at the clinic, at the welfare as we called it. And it was concentrated, it was in a little bottle. And one of my cousins, they wouldn't have it, they didn't like it. So I was really fortunate in the fact I used to get 2 bottles, whereas 1 bottle, I mean, you can imagine it was only like a little medicine bottle. And it was to last you all week or all month, I forget what it was. You diluted it with some water. It was a bit like cordial. But one of my cousins, they wouldn't have it, so my auntie used to get it anyway and give it to me. So I used to get 2 bottles. Riches untold. Yeah, my mum was a dab hand at making things from nothing, like cheese and onion pie. We had a lot of pies because I suppose it spread everything out a bit better. If she got a bit of mince, there wouldn't be much meat. There'd be a lot of potato and onion in this pie, but there wouldn't be an awful lot of meat, yeah. That sounded like my garage. It can't be because my garage is securely fastened. Doesn't open on its own anymore. It's bungee strapped to my scooter. So when the wind blows, it would have to take my scooter as well, yeah. Yeah, it's my kitchen. It's the only place I've got room for a PC. I live in a very small bungalow. My rooms are quite small. So there's nowhere to put my PC. This is one of the biggest rooms, actually. I mean, I'm lucky really because a lot of the bungalows I went to look at, they had the tiniest kitchens in them. You couldn't have swung a cat round. I mean, this one's only basic. It's not got dishwashers and stuff like that. It's just a very basic kitchen, but it's bigger than. That's one reason why I think I chose this bungalow, because it had a biggish kitchen, yeah. Oh, my house was huge. It was lovely. I had massive big rooms, yeah. I used to have my PC in. I had it in the lounge at first, and then I decided I'd put it in the dining room. See, I had more rooms, didn't I? I had a lounge, a dining room, a kitchen, and a utility room. And I had 3 bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs. And downstairs I had, well, they call them a small half bath, they call it now, don't they? It was a toilet and a sink. Yeah, well, my dining room was like a funny shape. It was like bits. We used to dine in that bit there where the patio doors were, and then this bit, which was about as big as here, that was where I used to have my knitting machines and things like that. Yeah. And when I moved, I thought, oh, God, there's no room for anything here. Oh, thank you. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I've got another subscriber, people. I get so excited when I get a new one. I'm not one of these people who gets like 200 subscribers. So when I get a new one, you're very, very welcome. I think, oh, a new subscriber. I've got one. It takes me months to get more than a couple. I seem to have this revolving door. I gain new subscribers and then I seem to lose them. So my subscribers never actually go up. But it's just like a 2 in, 2 out, yeah. Yeah. I remember that. More tea, Vicar. Yeah, you're more than welcome. We're not a bad bunch on here. We haven't got many rules, except we don't like swearing, bad manners, and things like that. But apart from that, we're quite easy going on here. We're not one of those where we start arguments over nothing. Gosh, I've been on some lives and, oh, they're quite nasty, aren't they, some of them? Having a go at each other and all that, and I'm like, what am I watching this for? I stopped watching a lot of them because I couldn't stand it. I thought, what's wrong with you all? Who taught me to crochet? Me, actually. I was in bed with tonsillitis. I was 13. And when I got tonsillitis, boy, did I get tonsillitis. I was really incapacitated, couldn't talk, couldn't do anything. And we lived in a wool shop, above a wool shop. So I kept knocking on the floor, apparently, with my foot to ask for a drink and things like that, because I couldn't shout because my throat, couldn't speak. And my mother got fed up of me. And she came up and I was like, I'm bored. So she came back upstairs with a ball of wool, a crocheting hook, and I learned to crochet a book. And she said, right, do that. She said, stop you being bored. Well, I tell you what, I mean, that crocheting flew quite a few times. I used to throw it the full length of the bedroom. And then eventually one day I tried to do crocheting and the penny just dropped. And then I was doing it, but I was doing it like you knit, So my auntie came round and she said, you'll never be a crocheter while you're shoveling it. I said, what? She says, you're knitting it with the crochet root, you're not doing it properly. So I had to change the way I crocheted. And for a while, I absolutely couldn't do it, because I'd learned to do it that way, like pushing it in and pushing it over. I thought I was crocheting, but I wasn't. I was really knitting with the crochet hook. And eventually I got the hang of it, and then I've never looked back. But there was no YouTubes and things like that to teach you. And my mum was downstairs, in the shop, so she couldn't teach me. She only knew how to do basic stitches, my mum, anyway. I was the one who used to do anything fancy. My aunt, the one who told me off for the way I was holding the hook, she used to crochet the most fantastic doilies and lacy gloves and little lace collars. All, in that very fine crochet cotton that they made the mats in, little tiny little steel hooks. It's only, don't forget, Kimberly, I've been doing it. I'm 80 now and I've been doing it since I was 13. So that's a lot of experience. You don't learn to crochet and do, well, some do actually. Some people pick it up really easily. People say, oh, I'd love to do it like you do or something like that. I said, yeah, but, you don't do it like that right away. You've got to practice. Only on a Saturday for my live. I usually try to do another video during the week, but it's not a live one. I usually just come on if I've got something to show, yeah. Well, you can do it like you're knitting. In fact, like Sheila does it that way, and other people do it that way. But once I learned to do it the opposite way, I found knitting it like that was very much slower. But that is the way some people crochet. I mean, we've got one girl at Knit Club who's got really bad arthritis in her fingers. They're all like twisted, And the only way she can crochet is to put it in and like knit it, if you know what I mean. Because she can't hold the hook the other way, yeah. Yeah, I used to knit quite as much as I crochet, but I thought I'd been having problems with my shoulders, but it's turned out it's a problem with my neck, which can't be resolved. So I do knitting, but every time I do more than a few rows, it starts up across my neck and my shoulders. And it's like I don't know whether I do that when I'm knitting. I cramp up a bit. But I used to knit all the time, yeah. Yeah, well, My mother would never let us turn the telly off before the national anthem finished. I can remember in the cinema, do you remember when we went to the cinema? People used to be rushing to the door, didn't they, to get out before the national anthem played, because you were supposed to stand up in your seat and not move when the national anthem came on in the cinema. I go like, sometimes I'm only half alive, aren't I, Val? Last week, was it last week I couldn't stop yawning? Absolutely couldn't stay awake last week. And yet when I went to bed, I couldn't sleep. I was awake half the night, kept waking myself up. I thought, this is so stupid. I couldn't stay awake while I was doing the live, and then when I got in bed, I couldn't get to sleep. Oh, nothing so funny as people. Oh, you going, are you now, Tricia? Are you leaving us? Nice to see you anyway, however brief. We've got no Chris yet, have we? No Shad, no Chris. Nathan's around somewhere. We may not have Julie because she's got company. She's got a son. Oh, this is... You're feeling tired, yeah. The crochet way. There's no particular way. I don't think you can see it because of my crochet. Let me see. No, I crochet that way. I hold it. Val says I hold it like a pencil. She holds hers like a knife, whatever that is. So I go in like that. In, through, in, through, in, through. So I do crochet fairly quickly, I suppose. I could never do any tutorials or anything because I don't have an overhead camera. I've got cameras, but none of them are working. I've got 3 cameras and none of them work. So I've only got this camera that's on my PC. So I can't do anything like tutorials or show you how to do anything. Because I'm sick of buying cameras that don't work. I've got one I had for years and it was a brilliant camera. And then all of a sudden it stopped charging up. The connection was loose and it wouldn't charge up. So I bought another one, and that every time I made a video, my mouth wasn't aligned with, I was going, my voice was saying something different. And so I didn't get rid of it. I still got that one. So then I went and bought another one, and I don't know what's wrong with that one. I suppose you just get speed up. I mean, I think I crochet quite quickly, but if you watch people like Passionate Kelsey, she crochets a lot quicker than me. Or technology. I mean, I'm sick. I mean, apparently, if you're doing a vlogging camera, they call them, these people who vlog and they get loads of money off YouTube, they can pay like up to £1,000 for a decent camera. I can't afford that. So obviously the cameras I buy are just duff ones that don't last 2 minutes. So I've given up with them. I mean, Sian sent me her camera. It was a little one. I don't know where it is. It's in the house. I've seen it somewhere. What's the best orange juice you've ever had? The one we got with the one we got from the clinic, yeah. It was good orange juice, that. They gave it to the babies because after the war, like, we were all a bit vitamin short, weren't we? That's why there was all these rickets and things about. So they were trying to make sure that the babies... It would probably be when I don't know when the NHS started. I wasn't born on the NHS because my mum had to pay the midwife. I don't know how old I was. I'd be a child when the NHS started. I think that's when we got the orange juice. The government decided we were all a bit deprived because we'd not had oranges during the war and stuff. I remember getting my first banana. I didn't like it. My mother had queued up forever to get this banana, and I didn't like it at all. 1947, was it? Yeah, I would have been 2 then, yeah. Yeah, we had national dried milk, for the babies. And then when they had this orange juice stuff. Of course, I don't remember the dried milk bit. I don't remember that bit. But I mean, back in the day, babies used to eat what everybody else ate. We didn't know, like, not to give a baby salt or anything. We didn't know nothing like that. Even when my son was little, I mean, he's 57, I just used to mush up our dinner, small, for him. He didn't have... I've taken a picture of it, but it's in the front room on Paris. I'd have to go and strip Paris off to bring it in. I'll show it when I do another video. Yeah, I can remember. And then sweets came off ration, late 1954, before the sweets came off ration. And then again, me and my brother were quite lucky. Well, I was quite lucky, actually, because my brother doesn't have a sweet tooth. And my aunties used to give us her sweet coupons, yeah. I'm living at the moment in Cleveless, Thornton Cleveless. Originally, I come from Royton, and I lived for 52 years in Prestwich in Manchester before coming over here. Yeah, 52 years in the same house I was in Prestwich. Are you in South Yorkshire? No, I was born in Royton, which is near Oldham, which is obviously Lancashire, isn't it? My first job, we used to always have this War of the Roses, because half of the bank staff were from Yorkshire and the other half were from Lancashire. Yeah, we're from the seaside, me and Val. Although I don't go near the sea. It's too cold for me. My friend was from Darwin. I used to do like collaboration videos with a friend of mine called Sue. But she went and moved up to Scotland on me. She's been living in Scotland for about the last 5 years, 6 years, something like that. She's from Darwin. You don't like politics? No, it wasn't. It was only banter. The War of the Roses, yeah. We used to call them from Yorkshire tights and that, and they used to call us something else. It was only banter, Val. It wasn't anything serious. We just used to... It was like the thing we used to do at work, If something went on, well, it's because you come from Lancashire. It's because you come from Yorkshire. Because one of our under manager, if you offered him a sweetie, he would put it in his drawer. And we always used to rib him and say, I bet you go home and sell them to the kids. Yeah, I'm from Oldham, well, right in Oldham, which is, it's quite famous. Quite a lot of people came from Oldham, actually. You know, Eric Sykes and lots of people. London Terrace. Yeah, I miss Sue. She was. We were good. You know, when you strike off each other, sort of craft-wise, and we always had different ideas, and we bounced them off each other. You know, she was very sort of encouraging, and if I had anything to do and I was, you know, what I call procrastinating and faffing about, she said, "Come on, let's get it done." And of course, with both of us doing it, then you know you would get it done, wouldn't you? I used to have all my wool in the bedroom upstairs, the spare bedroom that used to be my son's room. And she'd say, "Have you got so and so?" And I said, "Go and have a look." And she'd come back and she'd say, "Oh God, it's all fallen down. It's all this, that, and the other. Come on, let's get it sorted." So we used to have to strip the back bedroom off again and put things back. She was very good at making me do things, yeah. I like that here. That's what I do like, is somebody like stood at my shoulder going, "Come on." My bits have arrived for the knitting machine, Val. They've arrived. I didn't like asking Heather as she got the toolbox, because she might only getting into a tiz was. Or she was definitely my motivator, was our Sue. And then Kelly was to a certain extent as well. Yeah, I'm bad on my own. I really am bad at doing things on my own. I just need somebody at my elbow. I mean, when I say I'm bad at doing things on my own, I don't want them to do things for me. Well, yeah, I do, but not just purely to do things for me. I just need somebody that yeah. If it freezes, go out and come back, and that's what usually sorts it out. You remember Sue, yeah? I spoke to her the other day. She rung me the other day because I'd forgotten to tell her what had gone on when I'd had my MRI scan. So she phoned me to see. It's growing, growing. It's quite an easy pattern when you get into it, though. Yeah, you do. You have to restart it. Sometimes they do freeze. My telly freezes on me sometimes when I'm watching YouTube. I get that ring of death going zzz. I don't think the internet's as bad as it used to be. Do you remember when it used to come on at first? And you had to start it up and it would go while it connected. It was like dial-up, weren't it? And you only got so many hours, and I was always getting told off by my provider because I used to fall asleep and I exceeded my hours, and they used to say I couldn't have it. Really strict it was when it first came out. You could only have so many hours. They would cut it off. Oh yeah, that was a problem. You couldn't dial. You used to use the landline to get through. People couldn't ring you, could they? It all seems so primitive now, doesn't it? Mind when we first got our phone, even though we had a shop and we needed the phone for business, we were on a party line because you couldn't get a line on your own, even though we were a business. And this blooming woman that was on our party line, she used to be talk. We couldn't get through, and nobody could ring us at the shop. because she'd be yipping and yapping. And my dad kept complaining to, well, it was BT back then. He used to keep complaining to BT saying, we need one on our own because we're a business. People can't get through to us. We're losing trade. Anyway, eventually we got our own phone. I can still remember it. It was Main, MAI 8661. Can't remember what it was. Oh, one. When they changed it and they gave us more digits, and we're like, oh, we'll never remember that. Yeah, MAI, Main 8661 it was. Can't remember what the other shop was. I know it was 205 something, yeah. Yeah, it's funny how we can remember. It takes me all my time to remember my mobile phone, and I've had the same number for about 25 years. But I can't remember my son's. It's plumbed into my phone. But if ever I lost my phone and had to ring my son, I wouldn't know what his number was. It's bad, isn't it? We should write them down. We really should. I like this shawl, but she casts off too tight, so it pulls a bit at the bottom. It's got little beads on. Can you see it glittering? Just put little beads around the end. I've never knitted anything with beads. Whenever you go to knitting shows, there's always things there with beads, isn't there? I don't know what knitting pattern she's done there, but seems to be one of her own. Well, I hope that's not broken. Oof. Looks a bit loose, that, as if it's broken. Hope not. Hope it doesn't go in a hole. Yeah, she's casted it off really, really tight, yeah. Hi, Enid. Hi, Ethan. Hi, Chris. Everybody's coming in at once. What have you been doing, Chris? Have you been cooking? Cooking. I need to get a drink. Oh. Oh. That fridge is looking a bit Mother Hubbard's cupboard. We've not got Shad on yet. Oh no, he said he was going on a fishing trip. Yeah, it used to be dial-up, didn't it? Yeah. Yeah, Shad did say he's not coming on this week. He's gone to a fishing trip. Oh, you like me? It took ages to do that cardigan. It's a lovely stitch, but it's not. It's a very slow-growing one. You've got some stuff from Amazon. I thought you were packing up, Chris, not buying stuff. Or is it stuff to assist your packing up? Yeah, I wouldn't rush to do another one, East, in that pattern. You might be getting a couple of budgies. Woo! They'll talk you to death. You haven't been fishing yet? No, he came on last week and said, I'm sure he said he wasn't coming on this week because he was going fishing. On a fishing weekend or something. Man, he does, he fishes a lot, doesn't he? I would never have the patience for you to sit there. I'd have to take my crochet in. Somebody else would have to look after my rod while I was doing my crochet. Thankfully, I never had a boyfriend or whatever that liked fishing. I've not had a budgie since I was a little girl. Our budgies were always called Joey. Very uninspiring, wasn't it? My auntie's budgie was called Peter, but ours were always called Joey. Well, we had a cat, you know, and the cat never got the budgie, but he used to frighten it to death. I think our budgies used to die of fright. They never lasted 2 minutes, our budgies. Yeah, I'm so lazy. I've still got my baby cardigans to sell, and I'm just so lazy. I keep thinking, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Which is why I need somebody to kick me. Say, no, tomorrow never comes, get it done now. Those were Perry and Tam. No, mine were always Joey. We usually had green ones. We did once have a blue one, I think. But as I say, they never lasted long with us. I'm sure that cat used to frighten them to death. Came in one time and they used to have it hanging from the ceiling. I mean, it's cruel now, keeping it in a little cage, isn't it? And the cat was swinging on the bottom of the cage thing. I wouldn't want one now unless I could keep it in a bigger cage. Yeah, I think, yeah, Tam. Well, it's Tam O'Shanter, isn't it? That little hat thing that they wear. It's like a beret, isn't it, with a tassel or a pom-pom. That's a Tam O'Shanter. That's Scottish, isn't it? Do, do, do. I'm hungry. I didn't have much tea. I was hungry last week, wasn't I? Because I didn't have much tea. I'm never hungry when it's tea time, and then when it gets to this time, I start being hungry. I eat at funny times. I eat when I shouldn't, like when it's going to bedtime when you shouldn't eat, because you shouldn't lie down when you've got something in your stomach. Tra-la-la. What have I got coming to my Amazon? Comes every day to my house now. He's bringing me a pair of secateurs because I need to trim some things in the garden, well, the backyard. And I haven't got any secateurs. And I'm not ruining my scissors by chopping twigs. So that's what's coming tomorrow. Yeah. Hey, I found a good deal on Amazon. You know those, how people are buying that, is it paliettes or something? Little balls like that with sequins in. You can get a big cone, like 500 grams of it for about £11 or something. When you think that Ruth was paying, I think it was £3.99 for a little 25-gram ball. This is 500 meters, I think, or something, or 1,000 meters. You can get like for about £11. I mean, it's only thin. You'd have to run it along with something else. But I think that one that Ruth bought had to be run on along with something else. So if ever I want any, I shall get it off Amazon. Not that I'm thinking of sequin at the moment, but if ever I need sequins. Yeah, tam o' shanter. It was like a beret thing, wasn't it, with a pom-pom on it, if I remember rightly. I used to have a gonk, if you remember the gonks. They call them something else now, don't they? But mine had a little plaid hat on with a pom-pom. They were all the rage when I was a teenager. They were with legs like Humpty Dumpty. We call them a different name now, but we called them a gonk. Yeah, I had one on my bed for ages. That and a poodle that zipped undone where you put your nightdress in. Do you remember those? I had a black one, and then my mum bought me some a white one. Yeah, they were quite big. They were almost as big as a poodle. I don't know whether anybody else ever had them. In the days when people used to have like a little envelope that used to put the nightdress in and put it on the pillow. Ooh, if you were posh. Can't think what they call them now. They don't call them a gonk. I'm still on the first ball of this wool. It's going a long way. It's what Monica gave me in the knit club. She gave it me so I could make a shawl for the elderly. I've still got some purple to do. And I've got another colour, I think. What other colour have I got? But this one, I got 2 more colours to make shawls. In single colours. I mean, I've got loads of bits, but yours was a koala bear, was it? No, mine was a poodle, a black poodle. He used to sit on my bed. And it had a red satin lining when he unzipped it. Got another colour. What colour have I got? Can't remember. I swear I've got some other colour. It'll come back to me. It's all coming back. It's coming back to me now. Who sang that? I think it was Celine Dion, wasn't it? If you kiss me like this and you hold me like that. I think it was Celine Dion. Yeah, I might put that eyelash yarn I found. I might put a bit of that in the next multicolour shawl I make. Give some old dear a nice bit of glam. A bit of glamour. Oh, you're leaving us now, are you, Tricia? Anyway, thank you for calling. Do call again. That's what they always used to say, don't they, when you were going home after you'd been to somebody's house? Thank you for coming. Please call again. And if they didn't say please call again, you know you'd stayed too long. When they all started yawning, closing the doors and putting the pyjamas on, you knew you'd stopped too long. My auntie was renowned for never going home. It was Celine Dion, was it? Yeah. She was renowned amongst the family that if she came round in the evening, you never got rid of her. They didn't have a telly. She lived with a sister, and the other auntie wouldn't have a telly. So my auntie, Mary Alice, had to go. If she wanted to watch the telly, she'd go round to somebody's house. And if she come round to your house to watch your telly, you couldn't get rid of her. She'd be there till the dot went off on the screen. My dad used to have to get up really early for work, you know. So he used to say, it was his sister. He said, right, I'm going to bed now. He said, isn't it time you went? It was his sister. But she never took the end. She said, I just watched the end of this. And then she'd start watching something else. And my mother was too polite. Because my mother was never a late person. She used to like to get in bed by about 10, you know. But my auntie used to only live about 2 or 3 houses up the flags, as we used to call them. That's the paving stones, because we lived in a row of terraces. So my aunties and my gran only lived about 5 houses further up. So she didn't have far to go, you know, when she left. Mind you, used to be safe back then. Even as a kiddie, you know, going home in the dark, yeah. Wasn't like it is now. You know, nobody ever picked me up from brownies and things. You know, you used to come home on your own. But you never gave it a thought. Admitted I used to run past the dark bits, only because I was like scared of the bogeyman, yeah. You know, if you had to go past alleyways, you used to run, didn't you, when he was little? I used to have a friend, and, well, she was an acquaintance, not a friend. She used to scare her kids with Danny Dark or something. That was from some film or other. I said, don't do that. Don't scare them. You know, if you don't go to sleep, Danny Dark will come and get you and all that. And I thought, frightening the kids to death. They'll never go to sleep. You've got to tell her the bogeyman's going to come. I never told my son the bogeyman had come and get him. I just used to say, oh, you'd be tired in the morning and just hope he got the hint and went to bed. It's funny, you know, they won't go to sleep, will they, when they're little. They get up with the birds when they're little. And then when they get to teenagers, you can't get them out of bed. They stay up dead late and then you can't get them up in the morning. They go through phases of their life. I could never stay in bed when I was young. My mother used to stop lying in bed. Lying in bed's no good for you. If you didn't get up, she'd put the radio on dead loud. It'd either be a church services on a Sunday or something like that. The Archers, dead loud, she put it on. So you couldn't stay in bed if you wanted to. You'd be laying there and it'd be rumpty-dumpty-dumpty-dum, rumpty-dumpty-da-da. You think, oh, please go away, I want to have a bit of a lie-in. But no, not allowed in our house. My mum used to strip the beds on them on Sunday, ready for washing on a Monday. So she'd take the sheet from underneath you if you carried on lying in bed. You'd be lying on the mattress. Oh, shit, get up then. She says, get up. Many a time I'd tried to get back in again, like, cover myself up with a duvet. But your sheets are missing and your pillowcase is missing because she's put them in the washer. You weren't allowed to. Devil makes work for idle hands. My mother was never ultra religious, but she used to always trot out some biblical verse, that would sort of back her up on what she was saying, like, about not being able to lie in bed. I always remember she used to belong to this church group called Young Wives. My dad used to say, I don't know why they could call themselves Young Wives. He said, some of them must be 65 every day. My mum said, don't be awful, John. They probably joined Young Wives when they were a young wife. He said, yeah, but they're still there now. He said, it shouldn't be called Young Wives. As I say, my mum wasn't particularly religious, but the church outings and the church evenings were the only social life she ever had. Because she never went to the cinema or much. She might go an odd time with my dad, but not very often. She used to go to the Women's Institute and play housey and things. Beetle Drive. Remember when you had to put little bodies on the beetles and draw a little head and then... I don't know how come you had to draw them, whether you had to answer questions in a quiz, I don't know. But you had to draw these things. My dad used to have to sign write all the programmes to put outside the church. They had like a notice board with a glass that opened up. And my dad was a very neat, like a sign writer. So he used to have to do all these signs that announced, what was on next week at church. Tra-la-la-la-la. Yeah, beetle drives. Huh? You had to draw the beetle, didn't you? Was it a 6 with the? You couldn't start until you got a 6 to draw the body or something. Yeah, then you had to do that, but you couldn't do the head. You had to start with the body, so you could be ages before you threw a 6 before you could even get started. Yeah, my mum used to do that. And she used to go and play. Well, they used to call it housey. It was like bingo, wasn't it? They called it housey housey. Do you ever remember that game you used to play? I don't know whether you did or not. You used to fold the paper and somebody drew a head with a little neck, and then you passed it to the next person. You'd turn the head over so they couldn't see it, and they had to draw the shoulders. Yeah. And then you folded it over and give it to the next person, and they drew the body bit. Oh, there used to be some strange looking objects there. It was all good fun. It was like cheap things, weren't it? Yeah. And then the girls used to do those little things where you used to go like that with them. You folded them all so they were like little points. And you used to say, "Does he love me?" or something. And then you lifted it up and there was a saying underneath it like yes or no, or you must be joking or something. Yeah. You had to write on it a certain way. I wouldn't be able to do it now. But do you remember that? I don't know what we called them. No, you used to do it, didn't you, with your fingers 2 ways. And you ask it a question. Think, oh, well, you did. You played everything. You know, we didn't have money. You just made a game up with what you got, didn't you? I can remember making leaves. We used to kick leaves into shapes to make a room. And you said, "This is my dining room, this is my kitchen." And you'd have all these leaves around. And then some boy would come along and kick them all around. "You're being stupid, that's not a room." Yeah, they probably still do. And then you used to make those paper planes that wouldn't fly. That used to nosedive. And then if you were dead clever, you'd get a book from the library, wouldn't you, on what's it called, origami. My friend used to make lovely little swans and that, you know, by folding bits of paper up. She could do them without looking at the book. Yeah, it's all different folds, isn't it? And you can make birds, can't you, that flap their wings if you get a big sheet of paper. People don't do things like that the same. Well, you used to go on holiday. You went in a caravan, didn't you? So when you got in, you know, like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, because my parents didn't drink, so they didn't go in the pub or anything. So we'd have to play, you know, like Happy Families or little card games, or we'd play things with bits of paper, you know. It was all cheap, innocent fun, wasn't it, back then? But nowadays, I mean, even jigsaws are a tremendous price unless you can get one at the charity shop that might have pieces missing. I was watching a lady on YouTube and she was, you know, prowling around and she buys them. And she was looking at some, you know, the full price ones in the shop. It was sort of a price. Well, you did make your own entertainment. We didn't have money. You know, there was no money to go to a show or anything like that. You were on the beach, weren't you, in the daytime if it was sunny. And then you came home and had your tea, and then you stayed in the caravan or whatever, or the chalet or whatever, because people didn't afford hotels, maybe bed and breakfast or something, but there was no hotels where there were entertainment on. If you were lucky, sometimes you went to Pontins, didn't you? But we never really did. Probably too expensive. I mean, our holidays used to consist of going to my auntie's in Wales. They were like kind of free holidays, weren't they, you know? And then we had a caravan once at Towin, was it called? That's near Abergele. And then we went to Grange over Sands. You know, you just... Seaside, yeah, it was. It was. We went to Rill, we went to Abergele. As I said, Grange over Sands we went to. Morecambe, I think we went to once. But we only ever stayed in caravans. We never stayed in a hotel. We went to Bucklands once when our Ian was little. It was Minehead we went. But he was too young, he was only 2. What, the jigsaws? It was a standard Christmas present for a kid, wasn't it? I mean, now they wouldn't thank you, would they, if you gave them a jigsaw? Father Christmas always brought me a jigsaw. Yeah, it used to be on the table, and you'd put they had a big chenille tablecloth, and then on top of that, you know, the ordinary tablecloth. So you'd have to take all the tablecloths off the table, so that, you know, when you finished doing your jigsaw, they used to roll the tablecloths back across. And one of our tables was polished, so we had one of those. Do you remember those, like, felt? They were felt on one side and like shiny on the other. And you put them on the table to stop your tea and that burning the table and spoiling the gloss. I mean, the first table we had when I was little, that didn't have a gloss. It was just an ordinary scrub table. But when we got one that, we must have inherited it because I'm sure we didn't buy it. When we got one with a polish on it, we had to get this cloth. It was dead thick. It's like that. You know, when you came to my house, Fallon, we were looking at that cloth thing that she gave me to put over the knitting machine. It was like that. They used to sell them for a table protector, so it didn't get scratched or burned. I used to have a circular dining table. It went into an oblong if you put a piece in the middle. But, of course, I had to sell it, couldn't bring it. Now I've got a folding one from IKEA. It's got drawers at either end. But I can't get in the drawers because one side's over here by the desk, so I can't open them. On the other side, I've got a unit right up to it. I think you were supposed to put your cutlery and, if you were posh, your napkins and stuff in them. Amora's got one. She bought one. She uses it for her desk. She paid an awful lot for hers from IKEA. I don't remember paying that for this one. I bought it because it folds down to, you know, they used to call them a gate leg table, didn't they? Folds one. No, it's what do you call it? What is it? It's Pepsi. Oh, there's still some in. Oops, nearly overloaded it. You'll give me a nudge. I need more than a nudge. I want all these people who live too far away from me to give me a lift to move. Stop moving away from me. Well, I moved away from Kelly, didn't I? That was me that moved away from her. But Sue moved away from me. There's loads of people like in America and everywhere saying, oh, we'd love to give you a lift. We'd love to go and sort your wool out and sort this out. And I'm like, why do they all live in America? Or the opposite end of the country? Why does nobody live local? Well, I inherited my round one. It was my mum's. When she moved from the house into the bungalow, she didn't have room for it. So I inherited that. Not after she passed away. She was still alive when I got it. And I kept it until I moved to Fleetwood. And then I had to get rid of it, of course. So now I'm like the IKEA queen. I've got the IKEA desk. I've got the IKEA table. Billy bookcases. Kallax. You're in Fleetwood, are you? I'm not in Fleetwood anymore now. I'm in Cleveley's. I first moved into Fleetwood when we first came from Manchester. Are you a knitter or a crocheter? Or if not, what craft do you follow? If you do, you might not do a craft at all. Lots of people come on here. The only thing we say is don't be rude and don't be abusive. That's the rules for in here. There's no knit club on Monday. I said to Sarah, she said, I'll see you on Thursday. I said, well, you see me on Monday. She went, no, I won't. She said, it's bank holiday. She said, the library's shut. I said, well, I'm glad you told me because I'd have been trolling up there. I forgot about it being bank holiday. Oh, that's kind of you. Yeah, I mean, Cleveley's over by the men's shed, if you know where the men's shed is. That's where I am now. Yeah, I used to go to, well, Val and I, we used to go to a knitting club at the Larkhorn in Fleetwood. But it sort of dwindled away because I moved away and somebody else was ill and somebody else's husband was ill and it sort of just disappeared. I used to go to another one in Fleetwood, but I fell out with, well, I didn't fall out with them. I didn't like the people that run it. So I don't know whether you go to a knitting group or not. I go to one at Fleetwood Library on a Monday. But as I say, I won't be going this week because it's bank holiday and they're shut. I'd have gone up on the tram and wondered why. Well, I've only lived here 4 years. 4 years. I moved from Manchester. How's my crocheting coming along? It's growing. It's growing. Got quite a way to go yet. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with all the other stuff. Me Happy Mail. What am I doing with this thing? I haven't decided what I'm going to make. I don't just want to start something just for the sake of starting something, if you know what I mean, Kimberly. I want to, give it some thought of what I'm going to make. So in the meantime, I'm just doing these shawls with my bits and pieces. So I'm just doing my golden oldies shawls for donations while I decide. Yeah, but I mean, it's nice yarn, so you don't just want to rush into starting a cardigan or a sweater. I kind of like things to come to me when I see a pattern and I think, yeah, that's the one. I'd like to do that one. Although you know me, I don't use patterns half the time. They always fit me better when I don't use a pattern. I don't know why. Whenever I use a pattern, I always think, that's not right, that's wrong. Or I don't like the way they've done the neck or something. So I always do it myself, my own way. I'm not keen on modern patterns that tell you too much information. I do like that hexie that Amora's making, that one with the tulips. But I only like the cream one, I don't like the black one. Even when I used to follow a pattern, I was always diverting from the pattern because I'd think, I don't like that. Or that's not the best way of doing that. I'm going to do it this way. I used to stick more to the pattern if I was doing knitting. I'm not as much good at adapting and, doing the sizes and the shapes and that if I'm doing knitting. But with crocheting, I just more or less know what shape I am and just crochet to fit, yeah. But I never seem to get it quite right with knitting. I need to look on the top of the wardrobe. Yeah, shopping for Nan's dinner plate. Did you see that video she did today? She went to the Boundary Mill and they had all this fine china, like Royal Doulton and stuff. And she was picking up, it was like £33 for a cup. And the dinner service was about £2,000, I think. I thought, blimey. I wouldn't have thought there'd be that many people would go into the Boundary Mill and spend that kind of money. But it was all out on display, and I'm thinking, oh, please, if there's any children knocking the teapots over when they're costing about £200 for a teapot. No, it won't. It's that right, that very fine china, the kind you only have to touch it and it breaks. I've just got one little tea plate left that was my mum's, that's bone china. Royal Doulton, yeah. I'd break things if I ever had anything nice like that. My nieces, both of them, have got tea services that they've inherited from their mum's mum, if you know what I mean. She was, well, not a rich lady, but she was much wealthier. And she had these tea services. Well, when she passed away, they went to their mum. So when their mum downsized and moved into a small flat in London, she gave one of each tea services to the daughters, to the girls, yeah. I mean, most people who had them used to put them in a china cabinet and they didn't use them. Maybe they came out on a special occasion if you were trying to impress somebody. We never had one. We had odd bits and bats, I mean, because what I've got left is one tiny little, they used to call them a bread plate, little plate, a side plate where you put your bread on it. I've got one little plate left in china that was my mum's. I must admit, though, I do like drinking out of a china, not a cup, a mug, yeah. And my friend Sue, we were talking about, I always had to have a china cup for her for her tea, because she used to say tea tastes better out of china. She didn't like an earthenware mug. It had to be china when she come round. I mean, she's not posh, don't get me wrong, but she did think it tasted better. I'm a bit too rough and ready for bone china. I think that's why we've only got one plate left. I think my mother would probably brought the rest. I don't think she ever had a dinner service, though. She probably had oddments that, people had given her over the years. A dinner plate here and a plate there and a saucer here. We weren't the kind of family, to have Royal Dalton. Like Hyacinth Bouquet, the one with the periwinkles, is it? No, we never were that kind of family. We never had that kind of money. They used to do sort of like a china, but it wasn't the bone china. It was more rough and ready for the workmen chinas, yeah. Yeah, Richard. Elizabeth used to get me. She could say, "Oh, please, Hyacinth, don't give me that cup. Just give me a mug. Give me a beaker." She used to be terrified of breaking it and dropping it, didn't she? Oh, didn't see that coming. I like to leave mine at the end of the row, but...
Okay. The End Unseen by Ariel N. Anderson. Listen to this audiobook for free when you start an Audible 30-day Premium Plus trial. Each month, pick one title to keep from everything Audible
Alexa,
offers.
stop. What brought that on? Alexa's talking to me and I didn't even ask it anything. Weird. It does that sometimes in the middle of the night, but luckily it's in the kitchen and I can't hear it anymore. But it used to be in my bedroom when I lived in Fleetwood. It used to start talking to me in the middle of the night. Oh. And I'm sure I didn't say its name in my sleep. Strange beast. It's funny. I was watching Kimberly doing her live auction, and when she wants to pick a number out, for who's won, she says, pick a number between something and something. And I was watching her and mine kept joining in and it kept picking a different number than hers. Oh dear. I said the end or something. That's when it started telling me something about a book called The End. The end is in sight. What have I... Jimmy. What are you doing, Janet? What are you doing? You're starting to have a conversation. Well, that one started talking to me then I never asked it. I never said its name. Yeah, if somebody says it on the telly or somebody says it anywhere, it starts talking to me. I'm sorry, I don't understand that question. Can you repeat it? Oh, no, I can't repeat it because I didn't say it in the first place. What's that Siri thing? That's somebody else's. It must be another provider, mustn't it? But this one won't connect to the radio. It tells me I've got to do such a thing, and I keep forgetting to ask my friend to do it. She's more savvy than I am with sorting it out. Or is that what it is, Apple? Yeah, I'd like to. When I lived in Fleetwood, like I said, my son had programmed it, and I used to ask it to play the radio and that, or play some tunes by such a body, But this one won't do it because it's not been programmed, and I keep forgetting. She came today; she would have done it for me. I keep forgetting to say when she's in, "Can you do it for me?" Because I used to like listening to the music. I'd say, "Play me such a thing," and it used to. But now it won't. It just says, "I'm sorry, I don't understand that," or "You have to join this, that, and the other two." Well, I'm a Prime member anyway, so I should be able to get it. Because I'm a Prime member because I order so much stuff and I don't want to pay postage. So it's worth it to me to pay that monthly, rental thing, whatever you pay. Eh? There's no babies on here, love. All birds. Well, I am anyway. I don't know about the rest. What it do. Got a bit of fluff. I can't understand that parcel when I was trying to weigh it. I bought a scale, that you. No, don't be silly. No, I had a spider bite on my cheek once. Linda's got one on her ankle. I don't know whether it's a spider or whether it's a fly. But she's got a red ankle. I think she's been doing the hopscotch all week. Hi, Shad. I thought you were going fishing this weekend. I just told Tricia that you'd gone fishing. Well, Linda's is on her ankle. She's been sticking her feet where they don't belong. It's like those things you have in the car, isn't it, that you ask for directions with. They always have a posh accent. I've never had one because, of course, when I had a car, they didn't have such things. Yeah, you weren't on the other week when they all came out in force. There was about 100 of them. They all came out and bombarded me. Oops, I shouldn't have turned my neck down like that. I'm hungry. It did get me views, actually, yeah. And a lot of them must have subscribed because I actually got a lot of subscribers. I don't know whether they've left me again because they tend to do that. They all subscribe when they bombard me, and then they all vanish again. So I don't bank on them being there. As Sheila would say, please like and subscribe. I've said I'm never going to be an overnight sensation. I did used to say it before I'm 80, but I am 80 now, so I can't say it now. Before I'm 81, I want to be an over. Human bungle? No. It's not that kind of channel. I've been doing lives, I don't know, quite a few years. I know I've been on YouTube for 15 years, but not doing lives, yeah. No, I don't do memberships. Will you stop it? Behave. Go on another channel and annoy somebody else. Yeah, I'll never make money on it, but I don't pester people. I think if I had something to offer people, like patterns or something like that, I might say, oh, you know, that you get such a thing or such a thing if you join and be a member, you know, me whatever it is. But I haven't got anything to offer people. There's nothing special. I used to sell them on Etsy, but at the moment I don't have them displayed anywhere. Have you seen what Etsy's done? They've put the percentages up from 38% to 42% when you buy or sell anything through them. They make more profit than you do for crocheting the thing. I noticed that Davina's closed a shop. She says she's not doing it anymore. She can't afford it. She had to pay £97 the other week for what she ordered for commission. I mean, if you're buying from Etsy, that's not all right, but the person who's trying to sell things on Etsy, as I say, it's gone to 42%. I mean, you couldn't do it because if I was crocheting something and putting it to sell, if I had to give them 42%, I'd have to put my prices up, and then you wouldn't sell because your prices would be too dear. Shad got bitten about 4 times on different occasions. It is, I mean, I wish everybody would stop using it and then they would have to do something, wouldn't they? They're just being, when it first opened, it was for the small crafter. And they used to charge you so much to list them. And then they used to charge you a small amount, you know. Facebook Marketplace, I don't think they would sell because people want things for nothing on there. On my Facebook page, I've told people, oh, this is for sale, that's for sale. Not an iota of interest. Well, what do you do? It cost you $3,000. Where did you go? What did you do? Did you break your neck? CT scan. Oh. I mean, everybody says, oh, Britain gets everything for free. You fell down your stairs. Everybody says, oh, you're unlucky in Britain, everything's for free. But it isn't because she's going to do something different, Linda. She's not giving up doing it. She's just not going to use Etsy to sell it. She's going to think of something else to do. But I mean, Britain doesn't get free NHS. Yes, we do when we go, but we've paid for it all our lives. Like, it's almost like you pay an insurance policy or something. Well, we have to pay. We can't opt out of it. So we have to pay out of our wages and that for the NHS. But at the moment, there's too many people using it that haven't paid into the system. And that's what the trouble is. There's not enough hours and money and everything left for the ones who need it. But we won't go into that because you get accused of things. It just annoys me. Like I said, there's too many people draining it when they don't pay in. If we went anywhere else, if we went to a different country, we'd have to pay. Even if you take out an insurance policy and you go abroad, so, you have to pay it out first and then claim it back later. You crochet a dishcloth. I did a load of them. I've still got some in my drawer. It was that bad of a fall, was it? The NHS is all right if you really, really need them, but you've got to wait and wait and wait. People are spending like days on a trolley in the corridor before they even get seen because they're just so overworked over here. Welcome to the club. I've had osteoarthritis since I was a teenager. They say it's not hereditary, but it's funny, all our family have got it. There's not much they can do. Only give you more. Yeah. I mean, it annoys me when certain people, we won't say anything, certain people get doctors visiting the hotels and get dentists free going to the hotels, and yet we have to pay. I have to pay to go and see the dentist. In fact, they've cancelled my appointment for some unknown reason. I haven't been bothered to make another one. My necklace is plaited, glittery and plaited. That's what it's like today. Yeah, I follow a lady on YouTube, and she needed an operation while she was away in South Africa, and she's still trying to get her money back from the insurance because she had to pay, obviously, while she was out there, and then she's supposed to claim it back off her travel insurance, and she's having a wrangle, of course, of usual. I mean, I won't go abroad anymore because I've got the same trouble as Val's husband. By the time we finish paying for insurance, it's not worth going. The insurance is like twice the price of the holiday. It cost me a lot last time I went, and it's, 15, 20 years since I went abroad. But you have to declare, what's wrong with you, because otherwise your insurance would be void if you something happened to you and you hadn't declared it. I mean, we're going back 15, 20 years. I only went for a week, and I think I paid 100 and something pounds for my insurance. No, I've got to make another appointment, they said. But they've cancelled it, so I'm afraid they'll have to wait now. I'm trying to save up for that electric board thing that's more important than my teeth. I'm not in any pain, touch wood, and nothing's fallen out yet, so I don't feel like rushing to go back. It's like about 60 quid before you open your mouth in the dentist these days. And that's without having anything done. 5 minutes to look round your teeth. And then, you haven't had an x-ray for the last 6 months. We need to do an x-ray. That's another amount of money. And then, you've got a hole in the one of your teeth. We need to do this, that, and the other. It's like, go away. He said to me I needed a what do you call it? Root canal filling thing. I said, how much is it? And they quoted me about 200 or 300 or something. I went, how much is it to have it took out? They said £37. I said, right, take it out. Oh, no, he said, you'll miss it if you have it took out. I said, no, I'll miss the money if I don't. I said, I haven't got that kind of money, I'm sorry. I said, I'm a pensioner. I haven't got a spare 300 quid for you. And every time I have a root canal and a crown thing, they fall out anyway. I just said, just take it out. I'll suck me dinner. No, I don't get anything. The National Health, there isn't. There is apparently some places that do National Health, but nobody around here does. No, I have to pay for X-rays and that. It's mad. It is if you can get one. There's none round here. Or the ones that do it are full and they won't take any more patients. I don't know anybody that's NHS in my circle of friends. As I say, I just object to the fact that certain people get them visiting the hotel and they get home visits from the doctors, plus the fact they need an interpreter, which is like several £100 an hour. You know, it's just terrible how much they're costing us. You're very lucky, Val, if you're NHS. I can't get on one. I couldn't when I was in Prestwich, and I can't here. Sorry, we're full. People keep saying there's a waiting list, but you never get up there. You never get further up. I probably have died before I got to the top of the list. It's the cost of everything, isn't it? You know, like about 200 or 300 for a root canal. And if you need a set of false teeth, they're thousands, aren't they? I'd be walking around with gums if I had to have mine taken out. I couldn't afford to get false teeth. They took Alice on, didn't they? Yeah, I don't know. Margaret's got to get false teeth. I don't know how much she's got to pay. She's had her teeth taken out for, not because she's neglected her teeth. She's got rheumatoid arthritis and different things, and the drugs she takes have affected her teeth. So I don't know how much it's going to cost her to get, uppers and downers, because, she's on a pension. She's not rich. And they wonder why pensioners walking around gums. But there's no concessions for age anymore these days. At one time, if you got to a certain age, lots of things were free. It's not anymore. Not anymore. Pay up or else you don't get seen. Yeah, I've got to make another appointment. I'll try and make it like for the end of June, spin it out a bit more. Otherwise, I'll be donating £60 towards his Porsche. can't remember his name. That's the only trouble if I want to boot with him again. I think he's called John. But I don't remember the rest of his name. I don't want one of the trainees again. First time I went there, I got this woman. They said she was qualified, but she really messed my teeth up. She broke one so badly that I had to have it took out, but she denied all knowledge of it. It weren't broken before she had her hands on it. But they all back each other up, you know. Oh, no, like you're mistaken. No, it couldn't possibly have happened that way. Must have been you biting into something hard. I thought, no. I heard it crack. And she was faffing about, wielding her pinchers in my mouth. I think she was using secateurs. I don't think she was using dentist instruments. I do think, you know, like in America, you're on insurance and that everything's privately done. I think they bump up the price of everything because they know they can and they know that the insurance will pay. I bet you any money if the system changed and it was the person having to pay, they wouldn't be charging as much because they wouldn't get as many customers because nobody would be able to pay it. But because your insurance is paying it, you know, it's like, oh yeah, stick it $2,000. I think that's what they do. So painful anyway having a root canal. I'm not having it done. I don't care if I've got no teeth. I would if they were the front ones, of course. I'll build me a set from Lego. I know, you can't afford it. Yeah, they wanted to do a root canal on me and then put me like a false tooth on top of it. And I'm like, no, take it out. I think they said it was £37 to have it took out. I said, take it out then. So I ain't got a spare 300 quid. But you've got no teeth at the back to chew with. I said, right, it's okay, fine. Yeah, I'm not having them. They always fall out with me. Root canals and that. I've had about 3 and every one of them's fell out. I don't know whether I grind my teeth or what I do, but they don't stay. They wanted me to get a bite guard. 200 and something pound for a bite guard. I said, no, thank you. I said, I'll buy one of those sports guards from the sports shop. They're about 30 quid. You're lucky it's usually so many grand. That's what Margaret's going to have to pay. I think things must be cheaper up in Scotland, yeah. Well, I mean, vets. So, I mean, I'd like a dog. But I couldn't afford the insurance for the blooming vets and stuff. I think they must stick me on the top level then, Val. I used to have an insurance policy for the dentist. I used to pay so much a month. and he got a free trip to the look round to the dentist and a free hygienist. You got, well, it weren't free, but you'd paid for it on the insurance, but you had to pay the fees for whatever it's called, the people who make your teeth and stuff. You had to pay them, yeah. But it still was a lot cheaper. But it was only about £16 a month or something. But now I inquired, and they want about, I don't know how much a month. I thought, no, thank you, I'll not bother. Yeah, it cost. Our little Frenchie broke her leg, and it cost 4,000 something for a dog to get a leg fixed. 4,000 something, and they had to take her all the way to Preston. Yeah. And our him Bevan would be turning in his grave when he didn't foresee the NHS going to turning out like this. We're back to the old age where people had no teeth. I can't chew at the sides because I've got no teeth at the sides. That's one reason why I've got this. Sunken cheeks because I've got no teeth at the back. If I had to get false teeth, also just give me the front ones for half price. Just looking what time it was. Well, I haven't taken any animals to the... I've not owned... My son was responsible for his dog vet bees. I've not owned a dog since Buster. Cost me £300 to have Buster put to sleep. And that was how many years ago? About 10 at least, isn't it, since Buster got put to sleep? And then they wanted another 200 for his ashes to come back. Gigi's parents paid for his ashes to come back. Yeah, they wanted 4,500 for the plate to be put in our Trixie's leg. And then they wanted another 2.5 grand to take it out again because they said it had healed. My son said, leave it in. He said, well, she might grow it. He said, she's fully grown, she won't grow anymore, and she hasn't. Yeah, they wanted another 2.5 grand to take the plate out. My son said, no way, leave it in. She's happily running around with it. Yeah, my Buster's in a box on the Billy bookcase. My son pulled one of his teeth out with a pair of pliers. He said he wasn't paying the price they wanted at the dentist. I couldn't do that. I did pull one out because it was hanging out, but I did pull that one. Nobody pulled the whole tooth out with a pair of pliers. I thought, flipping heck, he's braver than I thought. He said, well, I was in so much agony. He said, I couldn't have been in much agony if I'd have pulled it out. So he pulled it out. I don't think I could do that. Well, like I say, I pulled one of my own out, but that was because it was hanging out. It was like, going backwards and forwards like that. So I just helped it on its way. But I'm not paying the dentist to take it out when it's half out itself. And I got, where's your tooth gone? When I went to the dentist, I said it fell out. I didn't tell him I'd pulled it out. Could have got an infection. You could have had this, could have had that. Yeah, right, I didn't, did I? So I'm all right. Do, 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 do. 10 to 12, nearly the witching hour. Yeah, we lost the Rottweiler. Well, both of them. We lost both of them to cancer. One of them went for an exploratory operation and she didn't wake up on the table. But the other one, she got cancer of the liver, so they had to put her to sleep. Her little eyes were yellow and her tongue. She just suddenly went downhill, so. But with Poppy, she kept being sick and we thought she'd eaten. She was a beggar for going on the beach and eating seashells and crunching them up. And when she kept being sick, we thought she'd got something stuck in her throat, and eating a seashell or something. So we took her and they operated on her, but she never came out of the anaesthetic. And they found out she was riddled with cancer. I think that's worse. Like you're not expecting it when you take the dog to the vets. You're not expecting it not to come home again. I mean, I was heartbroken because you didn't really have time to say goodbye, because you didn't know what was happening. I mean, with Buster, I did get time to say goodbye to him. But our Popsy, I couldn't believe it when I said, "Where's Poppy?" And they said, "Bad news." And I thought, oh, blimey. I'm hungry. What can I have? I'm always hungry at this time of night, and it's the worst time for eating because you shouldn't have food when on your stomach when you go to sleep. It's not good for your health. You're having a Tunnocks tea cake. Yeah, I'll probably have a bit of toast. I need to get some bread tomorrow. When I went to the local shop, they only had a small loaf. So I've used most of it up, so there won't be enough for tomorrow for breakfast. So I'll have to. They open quite early. Just have to hope they've got some bread. As I said, they only had toasties loaves, and the big loaves, so I don't want a toasty loaf. Bread's too thick. Well, it is for a sandwich anyway. Oh, I love bakery bread, but there's no decent bakeries around here. You know, the ones you have to cut yourself. I mean, I had Tesco's at Prestwich. And then I used to have this Jewish bakeries in Prestwich to get fresh bread from. There's one shop here, but I don't rate it. Everybody goes mad over it. You know, in Cleveland's. I don't rate it at all. Right, you go, yeah, I'll be gone when you come back, Enid, so I shall see you. Bye. Unless you're back in the next 4 minutes. Yeah, we worry about our kids. They're our children, really, aren't they? You know, people say, oh, it's just a cat, or oh, it's just a dog. Why are you so upset about it? It's only this, it's only that. It's not, it's part of the family. You get attached to them. I don't think I could get attached to something like a spider or a snake. I don't think they'd be on my favourite list. It'd have to be a dog or a cat, you know, for me to get upset about it. No, they can't. Rottweilers are very, what do you call it, hardy. I always remember when we had at Sky, she had a spay. And they said, don't let her do this, that, and the other. She came out the vets, went outside for a wee and jumped over the fence because she'd seen a dog down the road. So much for don't let her do this, that, and the other. She was gone. They're very hardy beasts, are Rottweilers. Whereas some animals are little prima donnas, aren't they? They come up going, with their paw. And you look all over the paw and you can't see anything wrong with it. You're feeling it and everything. And they're still there holding the paw. You know, you think, have they stood on something? Have they got a thorn in the foot or what? So you spend about 10 minutes looking all around its little foot and you can't find anything. And they're still there going, and then you manage to get them on the sofa and get them to sleep. And then when they wake up, they've forgotten. They get off the sofa and they're walking away quite normally. And you think, what were all that about? Well, I've got 4 bowls of this. I think I'll have one left over when I've done it. Well, I'm only on the second one. Well, it goes bigger as it goes along, doesn't it? It goes wider and you take more wool for each row. Yeah. It's getting bigger. It's quite lacy, but I think it'll keep somebody warm. It's a bit more lacy than I remember it, actually. Unless I did a smaller hook last time. Which I'm doing one size smaller than the pattern says a 550. But I'm using finer yarn because it says number 4 weight because it's an American pattern. But I'm using number 3 weight double knit. So I'm doing it on a 5mm instead of a 550. But it's still quite lacy, yeah. Oh, thank you. You're more than welcome, more than welcome. More tea, please, Vicar. Yeah, we're not a bad bunch on here. As long as people don't start swearing and things like that, yeah. A fox-nosed Pomeranian. As I say, I'd love a dog, but I won't get one. It's me going as well, everybody. It's my turn to go as well. I'm going to go and make a little bit of toast before I go to bed. Check if I've won the lottery. Ha, ha. What do you say? Fat chance. Definitely won't be one of them. Yeah. I sometimes do a video in the middle of the week, but it's not a live one, if you know what I mean. I just show you what I'm doing and have general chit-chat. Generally bore everybody to death. Right, people, thank you very much for keeping me company, and I'm going to go to bed now. So I'm not going to name you all because there's quite a few of you. Whoever you are left. I'll say goodbye, everybody, bye. And I will see you maybe in the week and definitely next Saturday. Bye, y'all.